What's up, Pisces? This is Jesse with 44 Astro with a bonus reading, a mini bonus 3 card reading for the energies leading up to this powerful super blue moon. It's coming up on August 30th. It is a super moon because it will be 14% larger in the sky. Oop, right there. It will be 14% larger in the sky because in its elliptical orbit, it will be in perigee, which means it's as close as it can get to the Earth. Because in an elliptical orbit, you have spots that are closer and further away. As opposed to apogee, when it would be a mini moon and it would look smaller in the sky and it'd be further away. So because it's going to be closer to us, we're going to feel it more. It's also a super moon as well as a blue moon, which means you ever heard once in a blue moon, which means it's the second full moon in a calendar month. That only happens once every 2.7 years. Also, it's going to be conjunct Saturn, who will also be as close to Earth as he can be. So we are going to feel some really heavy energies coming up. And it will also be in opposition to the sun, which means our inner world and our outer world will be tested by Saturn, and we'll have to balance those two things out. If you are a Pisces ascendant, this will occur either in your 12th house or your 11th house, depending on the degree, because it will be in Aquarius. It really depends on the degree. Most likely it'll be, it could even be, depending on the degree, it could probably even be partly 10th, but really it's going to be 12th or 11th. 12th house would be your house. Ooh, that's the card right there, which is, the house of loss, psychic ability, foreign lands, secret enemies, that type of thing. And this card is saying you are good enough, Pisces. Of course you're good enough. Full moon in Virgo. And if it is the 11th house, it's going to be the way you express yourself in the world. If it's the first house, it's your actual self, but it's 12th or 11th. So it's going to be, you could be tested with secret enemies. You could be tested with loss in some way. And loss can occur in many ways. It could be your unconscious world that's being tested in some way, like your inner world. And that's what conjuncting the moon will be. It'll be your thoughts, your emotions, your faiths, your beliefs, your axioms, And then with the sun opposite it, it's balancing that out and expressing it in the world in a balanced way, which is also very difficult. And because, it's all going to be tested by Saturn, your whole faith and your beliefs and things. With the sun being involved, it's also going to test them in the outer world. That's just how it's going to work. The cards you got are the 5 of Swords, the 8 of Swords, and then the 9 of Wands. So this is some rough energy. This is energy leading up. This is the Lord of great strength in this deck. So that means you have all the strength that you need, Pisces. And you are definitely good enough. Come on now. And of course you are. You have the 5 of Swords, which is the Lord of defeat. And the 8 of Swords, which is the Lord of shortened force. Okay? So, we're all going to feel restricted energies. This looks like you're going to be feeling that Saturn energy heavy inner world, but I think we all are. But it's, with the Lord of great strength here, you're good. You have everything you need. You have all the strength that you need. And the sign of Sagittarius is all over this card. You have solar symbols and lunar symbols, which makes sense because we're talking balancing the sun and the moon. This is a Venus card, Venus in Aquarius, which this conjunction is happening in Aquarius. And that's the designation for this 5 of Swords, this Lord of defeat. It's stabbed through a flower, which is wilting, the middle sword. And its designation is Venus in Aquarius, so that's like not really taking the material world seriously or thinking about it in a way that isn't, conducive to actually being productive. And then this is, Jupiter and Gemini. So this is would be over-bloviated communication, really outward communication. But really what it kind of means is your force is kind of blunted in a way. In some way there's some kind of interference, but it's really more about communication in this deck, in this card. But it's saying that you're good enough. And I think this is with your own inner communication. I think you're feeling maybe defeated in some way, but it says you have great strength here to get through this. And maybe you have Sagittarius in your chart somewhere. But it's saying you're good enough. And like I said, if this is affecting your 12th and 11th house, it's loss in some way is going to test you, or there's going to be some kind of secret enemies that come to light. And they'll come to light because Saturn wants to test you. And that's what Saturn does. And let me tell you something, having Saturn in the 12th house, that's what he does. He defeats. If you have it natally, Saturn in the 12th house, he basically kicks all your secret enemies' ass. That's what he does. So that's one good thing about Saturn, is he loves to give people their karma. He really likes that. But sadly, we also have to face our own. So he can be kind of rough to us. And we're all going to feel this energy. I'm going to feel it. You're going to feel it. We're all going to feel it. It'll be the week of the 30th, probably a few days before the 30th, and then a few days after, and then it'll probably kind of fade away. And this is really just the energy leading up. So I think you're worrying yourself a lot, and you might not be feeling like you're good enough, but you are, and you have all the strength, and you have great strength. Just know that you have the Lord of great strength right here. So you're good, Pisces. If you don't know how to look up your ascendant and your natal chart, I did post a tutorial. I will link it in the description below. It's just me reading my chart kind of basically to give you an idea of what to look for. You need to know the time you were born to find your houses. That'll tell you where specific transits occur in your life, and then on your own natal chart, it'll tell you, what those energies mean in what area of your life. So, look at that if you don't know. Most of you probably do, but I made it just in case. It's just for beginners. It's got some good information in there if you want to know how to find out what's most activated in your chart. But yeah, anyway, Pisces, don't be hard on yourself. That's what this is basically saying. You're good enough. And of course you are. We all are. We just have to kind of know it. Assume it. And it says great strength. So whatever this shortened force and this communication, I think it's the way you're communicating yourself in like a self-defeated way is what it sounds like. But you need to be strong, and you are good enough. And we're all going to be feeling this energy, make no mistake. And it's not that we're all going to be slaves to the energy. It's understanding the energy that helps you integrate it, right? So if you're unconscious of the energy, it will basically run your life. You will feel it, and you won't even know. It'll just play out through you, and you'll be as kind of a slave to energy. But if you understand it and you know it, you have the gnosis, the knowledge. You can kind of see it playing out, and when you're conscious of something, you have a lot easier time integrating it, and you can navigate it because you know about it. Makes things a whole lot easier. Anyway, Pisces, consider liking, subscribing, and commenting. I will be making a full moon video next week for this very powerful and scary Saturn moon coming up. But anyway, yeah, you're good enough. And I'm glad you're here, and I hope to see you here again.